The night was cold, and rain poured down like the sky was grieving. Ethan Walker, a single dad of 7-year-old Lily, was driving home after a late shift at the diner. The road ahead shimmered from the downpour, but through the haze, he suddenly noticed something that made his heart jolt: flames. A house was burning. Without thinking twice, Ethan slammed on the brakes, jumped out, and sprinted toward the fire. The crackling roar of the blaze mixed with the faint cries for help. "Someone's inside," he shouted to no one in particular. Smoke clawed at his lungs as he kicked open the front door. Heat seared his skin, and visibility was near zero, but he could hear coughing, a woman's voice. He found her collapsed near the staircase, trying to crawl but too weak to move. Without hesitation, Ethan scooped her up, her body limp against his chest, and stumbled his way back out through the suffocating haze. Once outside, the woman gasped for air, her eyes wide in shock and fear. Ethan lay her down gently on the wet grass. "You're safe now," he said, coughing hard, his face blackened with soot. Moments later, firefighters arrived, and paramedics rushed to help. Ethan refused treatment. He only wanted to get home to his daughter. Before anyone could even get his name, he disappeared into the rain. 2 days later, Ethan was back at the diner, serving coffee like nothing had happened. His life was simple: work hard, pay the bills, and raise Lily right. The town's old radio played news about the mysterious man who saved a woman from a fire, but Ethan just smiled quietly and kept pouring coffee. Then, the bell above the diner door rang. Every head turned. A convoy of black SUVs had stopped outside, and several men in suits stepped in first, scanning the room. They didn't look like locals. Then she entered, the woman from the fire. Her presence filled the diner, elegant, confident, yet somehow fragile. Ethan froze mid-step, coffee pot trembling in his hand. She met his eyes and smiled softly. "It's you," she said. Ethan swallowed. "You made it out okay," he said quietly. She nodded. "Because of you." Everyone in the diner stared as she walked closer. "I tried to find you," she said. "You just disappeared." "I didn't do it for attention," Ethan replied. "I just did what anyone would." "Not everyone would," she said, her voice breaking slightly. "You ran into a fire for a stranger." Her security team waited near the door, but she didn't care. She pulled out a card from her bag and handed it to him. "My name is Alexandra Pierce," she said. "You probably don't know me, but I owe you my life." Ethan blinked. Pierce? The name sounded familiar. The billionaire heiress whose mansion had burned down on the news. He looked at the card, embossed, golden letters, the kind you'd never see in a small-town diner. "I can't accept anything," he said softly. "I just did what felt right." Alexandra smiled, but her eyes shimmered with emotion. "Then let me do what feels right." She turned toward the window, and outside, one of her men opened the SUV door. Inside sat a small box, wrapped neatly. "For you and your daughter," she said. "No strings attached." Ethan hesitated. "How do you know about Lily?" "I asked around," she said gently. "The town remembers heroes." For a moment, silence filled the diner. Everyone watched as the billionaire heiress, the woman he'd pulled from the fire, stood before a humble single dad and pressed the box into his hands. Ethan opened it, expecting something extravagant, but inside was a simple photo, a picture of him carrying her out of the burning house, captured by a firefighter's camera, and a letter. He looked up in confusion, but Alexandra was already turning to leave. "Read it," she said softly. When she was gone, Ethan unfolded the note. Inside, written in graceful handwriting, were the words, "You saved my life. Let me help you rebuild yours." He looked outside again. The SUVs were gone, but his hands trembled. Inside the box, beneath the photo, was a check, and a deed. A new home. Safe. Warm. Fireproof. For him and Lily.